Welcome to Floating Leaf Tea Podcast. I'm Shiuwen.
Thanks, Shiuwen. It's good to be here.
Oh, by the way, that one was Noah. And that's it.
Yep, it's good to be here. Don't know what else to say.
Wow.
Aren't you supposed to be doing this interview?
What interview?
Asking me about, my recent works and the things that I've been doing and my personal life.
Oh, okay. So, Noah, what have you been doing lately that is very inspiring to you?
My new movie is coming out in July. Be sure to go watch it. Soundtrack is great. Killer.
July 2021?
July 2035.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks like a really intense, huge project.
Yeah, my fan base is really patient.
That's great.
And also, they're only babies right now.
Excellent. Okay. What else?
Well, I was thinking about drinking a tea today. I don't know if you would like to drink a tea with me.
Sure. Sounds good. I'm always up to drinking tea.
You have anything in mind?
I do. That's very strange. Actually, nowadays I feel tea brewing it's very calm and yet very exciting.
What do you mean by that?
It's very calm because it's a process that I have to to stay with it and to stay mindful. And it's exciting because every single time it's a new experience. In a way, it's like an old experience and a new experience combined in one. I don't know what the result is gonna be. So, based on that, I think I'm going to visit an old tea friend, like tea friend. Okay, got it.
Like a tea that's a friend, or a tea friend.
A tea that is a friend.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he thinks me as a friend.
A friend tea.
Because I actually haven't had this tea for quite a while. It's
Oh no, you're not doing that, are you?
Which one are you thinking?
Is it the High Mountain Yunnan Tie Guanyin?
Yunnan Tie Guanyin from the previous crop.
Woo! You're crazy.
So, I have not had this tea for a while because I basically forget about this tea. But when I used to drink this tea, I couldn't brew the tea in a way that every single time, no matter what I do, short time, long time, it's always bitter to me.
Yeah.
But the
hard tea to brew.
The tea energy in it is really nice. So after I got a tea bag, I tried for a few times. I basically give up brewing it, but I tried for many times though. And then I figure out a way to drink the tea is grandpa style. And I also have to drink the grandpa style pretty fast, but it feels really good. So I don't really mind a little bit discomfort out there, But since lately, I think my tea brewing have been changing. So I'm like curious with how I'm interacting with this tea now.
Cool. Yeah, a little bit of background on this tea. We got it in 2017, I think, or maybe early 2018. When we tasted it in Taiwan, and then when we brought it home, it tasted like two different teas.
Yeah.
The way that the roaster, actually, the guy that roasts the tea, is able to brew it, it tastes totally like a different tea from when we brew it here in the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually quite interesting experience. And then I think 2018, we went back there. No, 2019.
So when we bought it the first time was 2018 in like April, I think. And then we went back again in 2019. Yeah.
And we didn't ask for this specific tea, but he brewed 5 teas for us. And then we pick the next crop of this specific tea.
Another Yunnan Tie Guanyin on the lineup. And, oh, this is great. Tastes totally different than the one that we have at home right now.
Yeah.
And then we brought it home. It was like, it's not the same tea, but it's the same farm.
Yeah.
Same style, probably the same plants. And it's just like the same issue.
But somehow it didn't show up there either. What do you think? First infusion.
Soft. It's soft and it's sweet. Not fully opened yet, but it's really promising.
And feel buttery. actually. I normally don't notice this specific tea is buttery. Feels calmer than what I could do in the past. So there's something that has changed. The flavor didn't open up 100%, but it's sneaking underneath. So that's also quite interesting to see. I would say a little bit bitterness did get lured out by me again. We'll see how the second infusion play out. The body opening is really nice. It feels like I don't know how to say this in English though. 那个tea 那个茶化了，化开。
I usually use the word bloom. 化. Blooming. Like kind of like a form of, and not opening, like the tea's open, like a, like when you open a tea when you first start brewing. It's not like that. But it's like a form of, it feels like it's blooming into the body. Or sometimes I feel hua in the throat. And it's like it starts, where the tea broth actually touches and then it blooms outward. So I use the word bloom. Yeah.
I think I can maybe explain a little bit of the word hua. It can be, let's see, it can be you dissolve powder into liquid and the powder dissolve. It can be you mix some paint also into water and the paint mix kind of opens up, dilute and blend really well into the water. And I feel like the tea is like that into the body. Yeah. Cool. Second infusion then. Second infusion in the past is the moment I started to make a lot of bitterness into this tea. And sometimes I brew it for a short time and it still show up. And today, it's okay. It's really okay. Just a mild hint of bitterness and it's not overwhelmed. It blends really well with the tea. Tea continue to stay really calm and buttery and rich. Yeah. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
with the change on this tea.
I don't know. I don't have any descriptors to say exactly about that infusion versus the first infusion. What I'm really noticing is that this is the first time you've brewed this tea, and we brewed this tea in Seattle. And with a pot, in Kung Fu style, and it actually feels like it's working. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's that's the most surprising thing to me is it's always been like a tea that
is not working.
Yeah, it's basically impossible to brew with a pot. You just have to brew it grandpa style. You know what else is? It's not just that it tastes bitter, or it has tasted bitter in the past. Also has a really strange aroma of cat pee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really strong. And
what?
It's like a stinky smell that shows up in this tea only. It's actually I've smelled it in pour before, but
I'm just very happy that I don't pick up cat pee. I don't pick up. What did you guys talk about the Huanshan tea?
Diesel.
Diesel.
or like plastics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't pick up those things somehow on all these teas, so I guess it's a blessing. Wow, cat pee.
The thing is, in that Huanshan, I felt like that note was actually good. Yeah, it's like a good note, and then the cat pee note is not a good note no matter what you do.
Oh, didn't Steve also pick that up?
Yeah, Steve picked it up too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We got to ask him to brew this tea and see if it changed.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to brew this tea for our tea friend Rich. He also has this tea. And I think he drank our brewing before.
Yeah.
And he loves this tea, no matter how bad we brew it. He just do grandpa style too, I think.
Yeah. I think he just uses like
5 little
little really
tea
small
balls.
amount. Yeah, like 5 little leaves.
Yeah.
Like 2 leaves in a bud or whatever, but it's like balls of tea. and then puts it in a gaiwan full of hot water.
Yeah.
Just drinks it like that.
Yeah. And he loves it. And he's like, try to ration it out so that he can have it as long as possible. I should brew it for him. I'm quite excited. One of my tea brothers. Or cousin. I don't, yeah, sure, brother, whatever. Oh, yeah, he's my brother. Is this the KP that you are talking about? Because I'm not very focused on the third infusion. I keep talking.
I'm gonna see if it shows up in the bottom of the cup smell.
I think this is the P.
Showed up a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it's not that different from that stinky sewage smell in Singapore.
Yes.
Not bad though. It's not broken.
Yeah, it's not broken.
Yeah,
but
it's a little bit more disturbed than the first two infusions, but it's not broken. It's not anything like before, like when we would brew it and just feel like this is not the same tea.
Yeah.
It felt like broken at that time. It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, but since I was not super focused on the third infusion, I was actually talking throughout the whole brewing. But the first two infusions, when I brew the tea, I actually stay silent and try to focus. And it actually shows some differences. So they see the fourth infusion, if I stay quiet again and try to stay focused and stay with the tea and see how the tea...
See if you can call it back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of back to being more calm again.
Yeah.
You know, I actually had a kind of an image come to me.
Yes.
And it's something that I've actually thought of before. When you're brewing a tea and it starts off pretty good and then it gets disturbed somewhere in between and you try to bring it back again, it makes me think of water crystallizing. If you've ever seen video of really zoomed in, really like a microscope, under a microscope of water crystallizing, and it branches out like so it kind of becomes these long little icicle things, and then those icicles will put off more icicles, and those icicles will put off more icicles, and it's like a fractal, right? It's once you disturb it, some of the things break off, like the really fine ones that could potentially grow throughout the entire session. The really fine ones start to break off a little bit when it gets disturbed. So you can't necessarily bring those back again, but you can bring back a sense of calm to the icicles that have already grown, or the whatever parts have already come out. So if you start off a tea and you break it from the very beginning, it's really hard to bring it back again. But if you break it after a couple, not break it, but disturb it a little bit even, after a couple infusions, you can still bring it back to illuminate some of the less fine details. And that's what it kind of feels like. It's actually really nice and calm and sweet, and feels really nice. Doesn't feel disturbed.
Yeah.
But
that was a really good image, though.
Right?
Yeah, that was really good. That was really good. I can totally see it. That's excellent. Wow. That's beautiful too.
But it tastes great. This is actually really cool. Haven't had this tea like this before.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time we brewed this tea grandpa style. It was like after hours, we just we're still working and we're excited about something. I don't know. It was a couple of years ago. Excited about something. We just kept talking. We had we each had a really small mug of this grandpa style, and then just kept talking and drinking it, and then refilling it, and then drinking it, and talking and drinking and refilling it. Kept it hot the whole time.
Yeah.
Performed really well. Grandpa style that way. If you just keep drinking really fast and keep it pretty strong.
You gotta drink the tea pretty fast in the grandpa style.
Yeah, or else it'll become bitter and astringent.
I wonder if it changed too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder how much is the tea change or how much is me changing. And I think in this case, it's me changing.
I would agree.
Because the tea in the beginning at Mr. Lai's place never had this problem.
Yeah, when he brewed it for us, it tasted really calm and clear.
Yeah, and sweet.
And sweet. Yeah, that was the biggest difference, actually.
Sweet. His tea, especially this one, was the biggest difference is how much sweetness he could pour out. And I remember the second year when we went to visit him, we told him we have a problem with this tea. And he was just like, oh, I never have the problem.
Totally didn't understand at all. And he's like, what?
Yeah. And I just have to repeat it again. It's really exciting tea brewing nowadays to me, because before, I think what's the major difference is I see it as work and the work that I have to go through, because I have to practice to improve, and that's part of the work. And so I think the joy inside it is not as much. And the only moment that I can get a lot of joy out of my previous tea brewing sessions is when I really open the tea.
When you succeed, right?
When
It's
I
like,
succeed,
yeah.
exactly. Thank you for using the word. And when I failed, if I have to use that word, then I feel not good because
Yeah.
I failed something. And nowadays, that tea brewing doesn't. I think it's still like a little bit like work to me, because I want to improve. I want to see I'm going somewhere. And yet at the same time, since I am practicing to stay with the tea, the moments, those microscopic moments when I can stay with the tea, I was actually not thinking, will the tea taste good or bad? How it's going to perform? Am I doing a good job? What's the result? I'm doing work, blah, blah, blah. Those microscopic moments brought me to a space that I am with the tea. I'm just doing my best to stay with the tea. So there's no burden of me thinking about those other things.
When you're brewing it and when you're drinking it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And when I'm drinking it, and just because of that, it's really lately, I think my tea, it's been pretty stable and not boring though, because I don't like stable, boring tea. Those are really...
That's called good enough.
And those teas kills me. Kills my soul. And lately, tea has been pretty interesting, and that's very exciting to me, because I just in the beginning I was saying tea brewing nowadays become like I'm having new experiences all the time, and also I'm seen as a very beautiful experience, as it's that I'm seeing the old me, the old Shiuwen and the new Shiuwen combined into one, and at every given session. And so, because I'm not going to abandon the old Shiuwen, I am who I am right now because of the old experiences that I have. But I am also changing too, like learning new things, try new techniques, and like practice and stuff. And I think that's new to me, and it's like combining into one in every single session, and it's very pretty to me. So I think for like some people that they are struggling sometimes with tea brewing, I am not saying that staying with the tea will resolve the problem. It's what is working for me right now. So when my suggestion would be when somebody having a not so good of a tea brewing session, maybe you can ask yourself and the tea and taste the tea and see what's the source of the discomfort. And the moment you can really see the source, or I don't want to call it a problem, but I will still use the word problem, that to make your tea not tasting the way that you want, maybe not enough, or not interesting, or not opening, and those phenomenons, etc., have been staying for like 2 weeks in a row. Maybe one session you can sip that tea and then ask yourself and the tea together and see if you can hear an answer. Sometimes you can hear an answer, and maybe the answer is not like, oh, just stay mindful with it. Maybe it'll be like something brutal, like you have to resolve the problem with your mom or something like that. I don't know. You've been 25 years, kid. So deal with that. Your tea will be better. I don't know. Or the girlfriend who hurt you 5 years ago. Let it go. Yeah.
Another thing I kind of want to say about this specific tea before we move on.
Sure, please.
It's a Yunnan grown oolong tea. And what I'm noticing about Yunnan grown oolong teas is they're hard to brew.
Yes.
It's not only, it's interesting because obviously it's an oolong. It presents itself like an oolong. But with pu'er, when you're brewing pu'er, the technique I feel like is not as important because you're not dealing with something that feels so chiseled by human hands. You're dealing with something that's more natural, so it's not easy to brew pu'er, but it's more reliant on using your heart to brew the tea. And of course you need heart to brew any good tea. But in a way pu'er feels more dependent on that than and less dependent on technique. Yunnan oolongs are interesting because they are still dependent on technique, like a oolong tea, like a charcoal roasted oolong tea techniques of brewing, but they require, in a way, we're more demanding that we be quiet in our heart and more connected than, like I said, it's not that brewing a Taiwanese oolong tea you don't have to be quiet, but they how do I say? They highlight some issues a little bit more in the way that pu'er does. It's just really interesting. These teas are like a chimera or something of oolong and pu'er.
What is chimera?
Like a combination of those two things, and like a totally new creation. They're really different. Just like the furry crab. I think some people that are listening to the podcast have the furry crab at home.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That tea's not easy to brew either.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you can pull some stuff out of it that's really beautiful and feels like oolong like in the way that it's sweet and the notes are incredibly well constructed together. But it also highlights, at least for me, it highlights anxiety. If you are not quiet, in that way, it'll let you know.
Oh yeah, that tea totally let me know.
Yeah. So just Yunnan grown oolongs are really, they're just something really different, really fun.
Well said. That's why I need no one on the podcast. and in my life, he can put things very well in words that my thoughts are normally more jumpy.
I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. So with that, I think we don't have anything crazy coming up right now. So
no, just still doing our podcast and doing our tea shipping and doing our YouTube videos.
Yep.
And
there'll be another one coming out in not this coming Thursday, but in almost 2 weeks from right now.
Yeah.
When the podcast comes out.
Yeah.
On grandpa style.
True.
Yeah.
But still though, meanwhile, if you have questions, just let us know and then we'll try to put it on the YouTube videos too. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm excited to go start working a little bit more on tea tasting and tea appreciation on the YouTube videos, because at the beginning we're really talking about just how to get your tea to show up decently,
But tea brewing and tea drinking have to go side by side, Yeah. And it's just like anything. A good chef, his or her food need to be appreciated by people who can taste the food. A good piece of music have to be appreciated by the true listeners. So a good cup of tea have to be drunk by the people who can really taste tea. But it's a journey though. It also goes side by side. Tea brewing, tea tasting, tea brewing, tea tasting. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's it. That's a wonderful session to get to know this tea again and to get to know how I'm doing currently. And I will say it's a wonderful reward. So once again, keep practicing something. There will be reward to you by tea, because tea is actually quite generous too. Yeah. So happy tea drinking, everybody, and have a joyful. Nowadays, I just have to keep the word joy or joyful or enjoy into anything that I say and I write. So have a joyful life. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.